What's up, everybody? It's Uncle Jude once again. Welcome to my joint. It's been a while. It's been a few months, actually. And yeah, I've been really busy. Things have been good. Things have been hectic, but so good at the same time. And I'm grateful for uh, where I am at the moment, and it's exciting to be at the onset of something new. Specifically, spring. I mean, we're at the start of spring, and things are so beautiful, and things are so bright, and things are so lovely out there. It's just absolutely amazing. It's Sunday morning. I got up early this morning to watch some boxing with on the telly, and I caught up some Mr. Olympia finals as well early in the morning. Everybody's still asleep. The kids are getting ready for school back tomorrow. Narissa's going back to work tomorrow as well. And it's been a beautiful week having them at home with me. I love having my family with me. I love having my kids and my wife all the time with me. I want them with me all the time. I just feel very clingy towards them. And I'm sure most of you dads out there are probably feeling the same way. Um, I enjoy their company. My wife and my kids are my best buddies. They're my best friends. They're the people that I roll with now. They're my ride or dies. I still love my old friends and I still love my bosom buddies from back in the hood. But my wife and my kids are my absolute uh, genuine crew, if you can put it that way. Absolute genuine people in my life that I can trust completely. The last few months has been exciting for us. I have been given a new opportunity which I had to put in my 100% in. And in order for me to ensure that that opportunity was successful, I had to cut off everything else, and that included me broadcasting on this channel. So I haven't been away because I was bored or had no content. Um, I was busy on other projects, and I'm so glad that I gave that the new project my 100% because it's been really working, and the individuals that I've been working with and people that I've been working with are really so beautiful, and I'm blessed to have been given this opportunity. It's exciting, and better days ahead. There's so much that's been going on over the past few months. I had COVID. I had to be in isolation. My wife and my kids were so helpful towards me. I'm so grateful that they have not been affected and did not test positive for COVID. Narissa went for 4 tests and all 4 came back negative. And yet the first one I went for showed positive. So I'm grateful that I could carry that in our household. And my kids weren't affected by it. But we had family members, close family members that had lost loved ones, that were affected, entire families that were affected by this pandemic. Our lives have changed forever because of what we experienced over the last year or two. And me, for one, I appreciate the journey that we've been going through. It's taught us how to be resilient. It's told us that we are superhuman. We're not just human beings. We're not just this Homo sapien individual that was created over time that is just a being. We are superhuman, and we are evolving into something even greater from where we come from. And I am grateful for being in this era of technology where we could be able to capture videos like this and put it out there. And one of the main reasons for me putting my messages out on the internet or using YouTube specifically is because I'm interested and curious about timeline. I'm curious about 500 years ago in my family, what had happened. And I'm curious to find out 500 years prior to my existence on my dad's side of the family. And God bless and all the best to my dad. Uh, I wanted to say God bless. I don't believe there's a God anymore, but anyway, it just comes as habit. All the best to my dad that turned 80 last month. Man, Manuel Vashala, you are a strong man. You are a lion. You were our first protector. You were our first knight in shining armor. You were our first provider. And you set the trend of men in my household, first starting with me and then my son. And talking about the three generations, if you look at my dad, myself, and my son Josh at 14, pictures of us are almost uncanny, so much alike. It's basically an evolution of my grandfather that has transcended from my dad to myself and now to my son. We have the same features, we have the same looks, specific uh, characteristics that we carry forward, but we have our own individual characteristics. And that is why I'm so intrigued about the generations 500 years before me. What were they? Did I have a great, great, great grandfather that was possibly a physician, possibly a scientist, possibly an astronomer, possibly a mass murderer, possibly a serial killer, possibly a politician? I don't know. But all those characteristics of those individuals in my timeline going back 500 years have brought a new meaning into my life because I carry those genes. I carry some of those characteristics of people 500 years before me in my gene pool. My son carries many of those genes. I see it in his personality. I see it in his body, how he's built. I see it in his intelligence. Some of the things that I do not excel in that my dad used to, Josh excels in it. It's literally like it skipped a generation. It's amazing to watch him grow and watch how the next generation evolves into something new with technology that we have now. My daughter, exactly the same. My daughter looks exactly like my mother. She behaves like my late mom. She talks in gentle rapport like my mom does. So, if we don't believe in reincarnation or evolution, and believe that these things are not possible, I think we should re-look at science and re-look at certain belief systems, because I think we've been indoctrinated over time in how we believe. I really believe that we just become a repeat of each other in the next generation. But the job is in order to make sure that the repeat is perfected. Uh, we've carried too many impurities over the past generations, and it's our responsibility to ensure that the next generation is better than the previous one, performs better. And that's what it happens in the animal kingdom. Uh, the the animals that or the individuals in the specific species, if they are not able to keep up with the rest of the pride or the rest of the group or the rest of the herd, they're left behind to die. Nobody's carrying them and bringing them forward. It's survival of the fittest. So it's humbling to see how they behave. So going back over my timeline is important. Trying to investigate, I'd like to do a DNA test. I'd love to do a DNA test and find out my true ethnicity. According to my history, my grandfather Moses, or Musa as they called him, came down from India many years ago to South Africa. And prior to that, I have, and my family, my siblings have no idea of where he came from or who he was prior to that, whether he has a family there, whether we have half brothers and sisters or whatever. And I'm curious to find out. I want to know. It intrigues me to see when you watch movies of people that have history from their previous generations. You see portraits on the wall of their uncles that were in existence hundreds of years ago that fought this battle and that did this specific deed or did something bad and it was shunned away. They have that history documented. We don't have that. Many of us don't. And we are searching for who we are. So, this channel that I've created, I believe in 500 years from now, the generation to come in my timeline will have the ability to access these videos and have a history timeline of who we are 500 years from now. So, in other words, we are at the opposite of the end. We are at the opposite of the end. So, when I look at that phrase and when I try to open it up a bit, I don't believe we're at the end times. I don't believe in the biblical theory or the religious theory of we need to prepare ourselves for the end. I think we're doing a pretty much good job in terms of a human race and how we're preparing ourselves for the future. I think we are intelligent beings that evolve over time to be able to know that the end is not close. So 500 years from now, whoever's watching this video in my timeline, or whichever human being is watching this video, know that we know that the end is not near. If you look at the timeline of the earth, and if you look at man's evolution, and if you look at from where we've become from animal into human being, it's not it was a good few million years. I would think about, if I'm not 100% correct, it's between 500 and 700 million years ago, up until now, that we are who we are. The Earth's existence is not going to go away anytime soon in the next 2,000 years. If you believe that, I think you need to start doing some serious research, because I was indoctrinated over many years believing that, believing in Adam and Eve and the Garden of Eden. Let me just put it there, right? And that creation stemmed from there. Through wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, I now know, and I believe in science, and I believe in the history of the earth, and I don't believe in religion. I would trust somebody that will dissect something and not kind of sell me fables. So, where was I? Yeah, I believe that according to science, Earth will be destroyed eventually, and the Earth will be destroyed by the sun, which will eventually become a red planet and expand and expand, and the Earth will be consumed by the sun within a timeline of what is predicted of between 5 and 7 billion. So within 5 and 7 billion years from now, I believe that the Earth would be consumed by the sun, that will become a red planet. I believe the entire solar system, the universe, space, and time itself has been evolving and is continually being evolving. The Earth is part of an evolution process of space, right? Uh, Before it slips my mind, we're always looking for paradise. We always say one day when we die, when we go to heaven, we'll go to heaven and it'll be paradise. If you ever thought about it, if all the planets that we ventured to, we sent drones to, asteroids to, we've sent cameras to that showed footage from those planets to the Earth. Those planets that we ventured out to were all dry and were all literally dead. There was no life flowing like on Earth. But if you look at Earth from those planets out there, if we Neil Armstrong on the moon looking at Earth, Earth was paradise. The blue oceans, the lovely cloud cover, the beautiful scenery from another planet. uh, Earth is paradise. We're destroying it as the human race, and because of evolution, it's going to be destroyed. So, uh, we're searching constantly for a paradise out there, but I think we're on paradise. We just need uh, to explore the Earth a little bit more. I think we're too dimensional in our thought and in our habits. We need to expand ourselves. Earth is a beautiful place. So, coming back in terms of timeline and the Earth, yeah, I believe that the Earth will be destroyed, but as I said, between 5 and 7 billion years from now, and listen, I'm just estimating. I'm not giving you exact figures. I don't write down notes to read to you. My research and my things that I write down is out there in my room, but I'm just giving you some thought. But the human race will probably not be in existence long before 5 billion years. I think because it's taken us between 500 and 700 million years to evolve to where we are now, 500 to 700 million years from now, we'll evolve into something else. From a hairy little creature, eventually becoming an erect individual to where we are now, uh, almost having no hair, slender individuals. We're totally different from what we were at the start of the human race and the Homo sapien race. And I believe where we're heading to going forward, we're going to look totally different. Remember, we had caveman personality where we were wild. So we looked wild. We are now civilized and we look civilized and we clean. We have no hair on our body. I have no hair. Even though I want it to grow, it's not growing. It's growing in the places that it's not supposed to grow, right? And not where it's supposed to. So we're constantly evolving into something else. So if you look at individuals from the East, you look at the Chinese, you look at the Apache or Native American Indians. Well, if you didn't know, the Native American Indians and the Chinese are very closely related. Before the land bridge was covered by water because of the melting of the ice in the polar regions, the one species went to the states side of the earth and the other to the east. So they have the same features. If you didn't know that, they also have the same intolerance for alcohol as well. But there's many things. So, and if you look at lots of individuals all over the world, we're constantly evolving into different beings, physically and mentally. we're now using our mind more than we're using our physical body. Think about it. You're using your brain more than you're using your physical being to live and to earn money and to be happy. Why work hard when you can work smart? That's what we were taught, or I was taught. And I practice that in my life as well. My son and my daughter, at their present age of 14 and 16 respectively, are not the same individuals that I was at that age. Right? So between my dad and I is exactly 33 years in between. Between my son and I, it's exactly 33 years. So I can relate to three generations, and in terms of progression of habit and physical well-being and mental stability as well. Three total different individuals at the same age that look exactly the same, that have the same characteristics passed down through their DNA over time. My son and my daughter spend majority of their time in their room, right? They love their own space. They're private individuals. They have what they need in their little space. And they can function as effective individuals in that small space. Right? I have no problem with it at all. I love my children being close to me. I'll rather have them in their rooms playing online Xbox and watching something online or doing something in their private time than having my children being out there in this jungle that we live in. Because it is a jungle. And to be honest, as much as I love South Africa, my country, where I was born, and I'm very patriotic, I don't want my children to live here. I want them to go and find something out there more safer and more compatible for human habitation. We're living in a prison right here. Not by choice. We are forced to. And I don't want my children to live like that. I want my children to live free like how I did when I grew up. But by living free, they don't have to work as hard as I have been working. They can live much more comfortable life by doing less. You can enjoy that time instead of working your fingers to the bone like my dad did. My dad worked his fingers to the bone, man, just to put food on the table, just to put us through school, just to do better, to improve the standard of living. And I thank him so much for that. And I love him for that. Dad, saluta. You're a soldier. You're a general. And I'm just starting to mature from the lieutenant stage now into captaincy. My son is the corporal. But we're betting, we're getting better in terms of the generation. I used to work hard. I started working hard. I started working very hard in my life. At the start, physically, long hours. And I'm so grateful that I used my brain to migrate to where I am now. I used my positive well-being. And the album that Snoop says, I want to thank me. Snoop wasn't wrong when he says, I want to thank me. You got to thank yourself for being where you are at the moment. If you progressed, yes, if you believe there's a God, and if you believe in religion, and if you want to thank another being for being where you are, so be it. I thank myself for being where I am, right? Thank yourself for being where you are at the moment. If you're in a bad space, you got to consider what you've done to be there. If you're in a good space, you got to consider what you've done to be there. And you got to thank yourself, or you got to change yourself. Change is constant evolution. And if you're not changing, you're not evolving. You're stagnant. And you can't be stagnant because everything is evolving. And you got to start thinking and letting your mind evolve. I work from home. I don't do hard work. I'm privileged to earn a living sitting in the comfort of my own home in my tracksuit and in my socks and my sloffies, comfortable, and not to work hard. The only blisters or calluses that I get is from gym. That is all. I don't clean a garden. I don't water the garden. I'm basically not privileged. I worked hard for what I have, and we in this household have worked hard for what we have. But I've evolved. I'm not working hard. I'm only using my fingers and I'm using my brain. So my brain's getting bigger and my fingers are getting thicker because the muscles in my fingers are getting worked, and the rest of my body isn't functioning as efficiently as as my head and my fingers are. My son that sits in his room and plays Xbox and trades and does his homework online, and my daughter as well, does everything in their room. It's literally, what's it, 5 by 5 meters in their room. So it's a prison cell, right? With the comforts of home. You can come into the kitchen, get something from the fridge. Privileged, right? A privileged prison. Um, Not much physical activity gets done beside your brain and your fingers on your devices, right? Now, 5 generations from now, right? Can you imagine by living in a little space with all your things that you require to survive is there, you're only using your head and your fingers? What are you going to evolve into? What are you going to look like? Right? Remember, the caveman looked like how we looked because he had to survive in that environment. He's got caveman personality and characteristics. Right? So that individual that lives in their little cave, right? Let's not call it a prison, their little cave, like how caveman lived, that only uses his brain and uses his fingers. How are they going to evolve? What they're going to look like? There's not much sunlight you're getting into the room, right? There's minimal oxygen that you learn to live with. You learn your body and your lungs will start adapting to less is more. Less air, less sunlight, it's good enough, it's more. I'm fine with it. So your body will start adapting, right? And you're going to start looking different. Your eyes are going to get bigger in shape because you're fully focused on the screen or an object. With the VR technology, now you've got the visor that you can put on, so you're in the screen, so your eyes are literally open for a longer period of time, meaning that your eyes will start adapting to harsh light for longer periods of time, right? My kids and I were watching something on YouTube the other day. We don't watch normal TV. We rather watch something that's stimulating for the brain, and you should too. A good movie and some nonsense now and then is good for a laugh. But we were watching this short clip on YouTube that was speaking about if you have to keep your eyes open for a long period of time, what happens to it? After, I think, if I'm not mistaken, 12 to 14 days, it'll be completely darkness. You'll be blind, right? After 14 days of not closing your eyes, right? You'll go through some serious pain through that 14 days before you turn completely blind. When your eyes will be blackened, right? So your eyes, your entire eyeball will completely blackened out. Right, if you haven't followed some individuals, I follow some bodybuilders on IG that have tattooed their eye lenses out completely, so it's full black. It looks actually cool, I think. It looks cool. It looks weird, but looks cool if you're into the dark side. But anyway. That's what happens to your eyes if you keep it constantly open. So now your head's growing bigger, your fingertips are getting thicker and longer because of your devices. Your eyes are getting blacker and wider and open. What do you look like? Think about it. What do you look like? No sunlight on your skin, so your skin will probably have no hair and it's pale in complexion. Okay, now, I think it looked like more like an alien image, wouldn't you? Yeah, if you look at the alien with the big eyes and no hair on his body, long fingers, web uh, hands, because obviously with the poles melting now, what's going to happen? Land's going to be covered. It's going to be a water world, right? So you're going to have to evolve into web feet, right? I'm just thinking out loud now, right? I'm not saying this shit's going to happen. I'm saying that there's a possibility of us being able to relate to what's being told to us or what we see. We'll evolve into something that looks like an alien, right? An alien looking being. We might be still human, but our bodies will probably transform into something oddly looking. Aliens are from extraterrestrials, right? We'll still be human beings, but we'll be looking something really odd, right? Technology will be so advanced. From where we have started in terms of technology, the last 100 years, we've evolved so dramatically that, and drastically and fast, that I can't keep up sometimes, I'm too slow on the devices. I'm slow on the click, click, click. So I can imagine what technology will be able to do 100 years from now. I believe that time travel is possible. I believe that science is so advanced in showing us the possibilities of what happened years ago that we could relate to now. I believe that maybe 500 years from now, right, my timeline, 500 years from now, that we'll be able to be so advanced in technology, we'll be able to time travel 500 years from now to the past. So imagine those individuals, what they would look like 500 years from now. Evolved into looking like something real freaky, right? Traveling 500 years from now, right? That's 2521, right? Traveling from 2521 into the past. And I'm talking ancient civilization, the Mayan times, Egyptian times, the times of where the great civilizations existed. There is so many indications of and signs of alien-like statues and relief features in ancient civilization that still makes us wonder, how did the pyramids were so aligned in terms of their structure and their dimensions? The Mayans, with their architecture and the way they structured some of their buildings and their places of habitation, relief statues with handbags of men with globe-like things over their heads. That is evident out there. If you Google it, try to Google Goblepi Tepe, right? Go there and have a look and see what you can find, right? I think possibility, our future 500 years from now has discovered time travel and is able to time travel from 2521 all the way past to ancient civilization, right? There were sightings in the 70s and the 60s. I think even up till now, people in places are able to have sightings. I'm not sure whether it's true or whether it's not. For me, seeing is believing. I want to find evidence about it. But there's a possibility that our future beings are able to travel to the past and to the present because they can. If you could time travel, wouldn't you? I would. If I could have the ability to time travel, I definitely would. We watch so much of information on TV telling us how the past was. Imagine being there. I would. So I'm sure the future us would are probably doing that now, traveling from the future to the past, and we stuck in the middle here. So the timeline is intriguing for me. There's so much to say, and I'm gonna cut it short there. I want to talk some more. I wanna say more of what I think for the future of my timeline, and I hope the generation ahead of me will be able to keep a log like this on some kind of social media that will be able to be saved from now, 500 years from now, so that somebody in our timeline will be able to discover it, because I believe technology is there forever now. These videos are going to be there on the net forever. Or if technology evolves, and it's evolving every day, I don't know what's going to happen, if it gets erased or what, but I hope it stays on somewhere, stored somewhere forever. And the generations ahead must continue to keep a dialogue and a log like this. And you should too. We have the opportunity to be able to put it out there. We have the opportunity to keep your own captain's log. If Captain Kirk could keep a captain's log, and that was just a fictional character, make it real. Keep your log. And the future, we know that you busy, and we hope that you find a solution for survival. It's important that you keep us alive, because we don't know what's going to happen. So yeah, that's the end of it for now. Let me cut it short. I'm sure the family's going to get up now, and it's time to prepare, get some breakfast done for them, and lunch, chicken curry and rice. Gotta love you and leave you until the next episode. Uncle Jude out.